Hello everybody, Happy New Year. Wanted to make a video showing you the best melee weapon in Fallout 76. I really don't think there's much of an argument. I think most people would say it's the auto axe or even the chainsaw. They're both very similar, and that's what I'm going to be talking about in this video. Of course, if you disagree with me, let me know in the comments and I will be happy to get back to you. But I think this is the overall winner for melee weapons. I've tried a lot of the good ones. I haven't really run around with a roll-in pin, but I've tried most of the good melee weapons, and I don't really see anything better than these two weapons. Now, let's get into where you're going to find these. The auto axe, unfortunately, if you don't have it, you have to come to the White Springs and get it off Giuseppe, and it's 1,000 stamps, which is a lot. I grind expeditions, and you can see that I have 644 of them, and 1,000 is a lot. If you do have the auto axe or you got it from the scoreboard, I would suggest the electric mod. I've heard the burning one is very good as well, but I would stick to those two. And like I said, I use the electric mod. I would highly recommend it. Now, if you don't want to get the auto axe, which I don't blame you, for 1,000 stamps, I'm going to link a video in the description where you can find a chainsaw, and it's just as good. It's just as good if you put the attachments on that I'm about to show you here. With the chainsaw, you would want the dual bar and the flamer. Now, the flamer you can find at any of the train stations, as you can the dual bar, but the flamer is so much easier to find. Like, you'll find that pretty quick. The dual bar, I've only ever saw one at a train station when I was looking for it, but like I said, I'll link a video in the description where you can find chainsaws, and if you scrap enough of them, eventually you will unlock the dual bar mod. And again, on the auto axe, all you can really do with it is put a mod from Giuseppe on it. So, like I said, I recommend the electric mod. And another point for my video is just like, this weapon is so convenient. Again, we're talking about convenience. I just want to show that I don't have any perk cards on that help melee damage or two-handed damage, because there's two different perk cards for melee weapon damage. Man, if I said that wrong, I'm going to hear about it in the comments, but that's alright. You know what I mean. And yeah, even without the perk cards on, you can see like how fast it just takes out a tanky enemy. Now that is just crazy without perks to me. Like, and that's why I say, like, this thing is just great to carry around. It doesn't use ammo, and it's just great. If you do want to use perk cards, I suggest all the sluggers and an incisor. It will beef it up enough. I'm not going to really get into a melee build too much because I don't really know enough about melee builds. Maybe some people in the comments could help us out a bit, maybe give us some suggestions for a melee build. This is more of, how convenient this gun is, or sorry, this weapon is, and why it is the best melee weapon. And I know, like I said, I haven't done a melee build, but I don't think I need to know that this is the best melee weapon. I could be wrong, but that's my opinion, and I've used a lot of the melee weapons. Like, look what it does to ghouls at the White Spring Resort. Like, it just they're dead. It's instant. It's ridiculous, man. It's just so good to have one of these on you. Another thing you can do too, just, if you're casually playing, you could put a weight bench in your camp, and you can buff your strength by 2. Wanted to point out as well that every point of strength does help with the damage towards a melee weapon. Now, like I said, I'm not too familiar with melee builds, but that's just my input. Like I said, maybe some people can help us out in the comments. Now, would I go fight a Scorch Beast Queen with this? This is with a couple of perks on and a couple of buffs. Like I said, I'm not too knowledgeable of a melee build, but as you can see, it still hurts her pretty decent, but I wouldn't go really fighting main bosses with it if you're just casually playing a melee build. Also, I would highly recommend Blocker if you're a bloody build, because it'll stop you from becoming a pancake. And then you are free to, go around killing behemoths and Mirelurks. Mirelurks will get you pretty quick too if you don't have Blocker on. Again, this is just a little bit of input into a melee build. If you really want to, spice it up a little bit. I've never really put more than a couple perk cards on and tried a couple more buffs. I heard Carnivore is really good for a melee build. It's almost a must because there's a lot of food that will buff your strength and your melee, if I'm not mistaken. But like I said, maybe I'll do another video of that and link it in the description when I have a little bit more knowledge about a melee build, because I don't want to say stuff that I don't know what I'm talking about. So maybe check the description, maybe that video is there, it will be there eventually, I'm sure. Another point I'm pointing out here is that it is great at Westech. If you want to do runs at Westech, ranking up, it's great. You won't waste ammo. Highly recommend you put Makeshift Warrior on, though. It will help from the chainsaws from breaking, because they will break very fast. The auto axe included breaks very fast, so you might want to put on as high a Makeshift Warrior as you can. I think it goes to level 5. Pretty sure it goes to level 5. Just an amazing weapon, man. I had to do a video on these two. Yeah. Another good reason to have one just in your back pocket playing casual is for the daily ops. It will be great for the ones where you have to kill the enemy by a melee only. It's just like a must for me. If I'm going into the daily ops, I make sure I have a chainsaw or an auto axe on me, which I always do anyway. It's just a very nice thing to have with you. What was I going to say about the legendary perk card? Oh yes, let's get into power armor now. If you're a casual power armor player, here's a couple little other tips I would suggest. Power sprinter. Now, it doesn't really help with the damage or anything, but it consumes 50% less AP when you're running. So, and you're going to be running at enemies, as you can see, a lot. So it definitely helps when you're using melee in a power armor build. Now, it's not as impressive as the bloody build, but it's a lot safer, and it's still very convenient, as I'm going to show here. Like, you just run through super mutants and regular enemies. You know, like I said too, it's not like you want to go hunting big enemies with the chainsaw, but you could easily walk around with this thing all day and kill about 90% of anything that you're going to run into. And that's pretty much the video, everybody. Yeah, pointed out blocker, you know, Makeshift Warrior, and yeah, those perks would help, and the Power Sprinter as well under the legendary perk cards. And that's pretty much it, everybody. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. I would be glad to answer them. And thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. I hope you guys have the best year yet. Take care. Have a great day.